right, yeah, welcome to the Human Narrative. I was going to let that play all the way. One of my favorite artists of all times, of all time, many times, of all time, Lucky Dubie. I was listening to some songs and records earlier, and that just hit me. I'm like, you know what? Let's celebrate. Let's listen to that because that's a song that kind of reflect pain, joy, healing, acceptance, and so many different things, right? That we as um, humans experience, in so many different ways. So, welcome to the Human Narratives. It is a pleasure to be here. It is a pleasure to be back. This is your host. This is your girl, Dorinda. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful week. And today's topic, it's kind of a little bit heavy, but I'm going to try to keep it a little light because that's how we need to create balance, right? So no matter how heavy things may get, you always have to be able to find some sense of lightness in that space so you can have balance. So you can maintain some mental clarity and some good self-care, right? Always remember you in the process of it all. So, welcome to the Human Narratives. And today's topic, I want to talk about life. Life. Do y'all remember the movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence? One of my favorite movies of all time. I love that movie. I love that movie because, of course, one of my favorite scenes was where it's like, hey, motherfucker, you gonna eat that cornbread? He was like, nah, motherfucker, I ain't gonna eat your cornbread. You gonna eat your... I love it. I love it. But life comes in so many different ways and in so many different aspects. And, you know, I wanted to talk about why life is work. Why life is work. Because sometimes it seems like we get so caught up and surprised by challenges and obstacles that we encounter, you know, as if, everything should just be, I'm not saying that, you know, we should experience challenges, but we also have to understand that life will come with challenges and that we may have to put in some work in certain areas in our life to be able to push through and understand our strengths in that space of uncertainties and understand who we are in that space of uncertainties because it's through that pushing through, right, is where you conquer, not in the giving up. It's through that pushing through is where you conquer, right? So life is work, but life is also fun. I made a note here too, that it's your job to enjoy it. It's your job to enjoy it. It's your job to create your happiness. It's your job to create your sense of peace. But life is work. But if life is work, how can we have a conversation around that with reality based mentality, right? Not unrealistic based mentality, but with reality based mentality so that we know that when we do encounter those challenges that life brings, it's not a, oh my goodness, it's not a surprise. And even if we do have those shocking moments because we are human, we can still say, oh, you know what? I got this. It caught me off guard, but I got this. Life is work. Life is work, and it involves the day to day grinding. It involves, being able to deal with your emotions. It involves being able to learn and unlearn patterns. It involves trying to become who you're meant to be. It becomes showing up sometimes when you don't feel like showing up anyway, facing yourself sometimes and being realistic to yourself so that you can allow growth, right? If one allow that space to to be created. So it's a full-time job. It's a full-time job, not even including you having to understand life and your identity, and who you're trying to be in this world, who you're supposed to be in this world. There's so many other things in life that pull us as well in different directions. And you still have to maintain some mental clarity through all that. Anyway, y'all like my hat? I love my hat too. Got from Jamaica, Jamaica. But okay, so it's work, right? So it does take efforts to grow, to evolve, and to be who you are intended and purposefully sent in this space that you hold to be. Yes, it is work. So one of the question is I want to ask you is, what's been feeling like the hardest part of that work for you lately? What's been the hardest part for you related to that work, and what's been triggering that space? How can you increase that self-awareness space and self-compassion and self-love and be able to grow into who you are intended to be and become, right? We have to ask ourselves those questions at times. We can't expect and wait for people to ask us those questions. You have to be able to look deep within you and say, hey, girl, hey, boy, hey, dude, what's up? You all right? What do you need? And be able to give that to you, right? It's self love. Life is work, but it also includes enjoying it and having fun, creating balance, right? No matter how heavy it gets. Why is it important to keep pushing through challenges? I always say I don't have an option. I don't have an option. I don't have an option because I know whose I am. Why should I settle for less when I know whose I am? I don't have an option. So I have to keep pushing through because I know what God has for me. That's just that. So, why is it important for you to push through? There are times when I'm working with people and I ask that question, why is it important for you to still want to live, to be alive? And they speak of everything outside, which I understand sometimes is a challenge to find that in you when you don't see the purpose of existence. But I also ask to try to figure out and understand when you do find out those external reasons and purposes of why you want to be here, why do you also want to be here? What are those internal pieces that lie in your spirit, that lie in your life, your whole being when you think about it, right? So why do we push through? The importance of pushing through, because it's not an option, because you deserve it. You deserve the best. You want to be able to live the life that you feel that is yours. And it allow you, like I stated earlier, it allow you to build depths, strengths, strength, and also self-trust in your abilities, your ability to show up for yourself, your ability to show up in different spaces of support in which you extend yourself in those capacity, because you cannot show up or extend yourself in capacities if you're not showing up for you. There's no balance there. We're staggering in the water and the boat's gonna sink. Right. And we don't want that to happen. So the work must get started. there is pain, there are struggles, and there are times where we may even assume that it's pointless. But pushing through allow us to be this resilient humans, and we become these individuals that no matter what circumstances, you are still able to push through the impossibilities. That's the power and strength that one is able to recover and discover. And if you allow yourself to be in that space, right? But it's work. It's work to get to that space. You may go through the tears, you may go through the breakdown, you may go through the betrayal, you may go through the lack of compassion, you may go through the lack of self-doubt, the lack of confidence, the sometimes you may gain the confidence. There's so many different emotions that one may experience in that space, and all of those things are normal and all of those things are okay to go through. But don't stay in those spaces because there's still work that needs to be done, honey. There's still work to be done. Okay. So you have to be able to push through in those moments when, even when you don't have a reason to push through, even if you can find it externally, you have to push through because that's what becomes your story. That's what becomes your wisdom, and that's what becomes your resilience. Those moments. Because if we leave this world due to suicide, we are never able to tell those stories. And I always say, I think it was Les Brown who says this in one of his speech that I listened to. Can nobody tell your story like you can? It was not placed in nobody else but you. So if you give up, or if you allow life circumstances and challenges to stop you and make you feel stuck, then you've allowed so many other things that is not supposed to win. And you don't deserve those outcome or those results. So you have to push through because those are the moments that become your stories. Those are the moments that becomes your wisdoms. Your wisdom, your resilience. And like, like Les Brown says the best, can nobody tell your story like you? Someone can try to imitate my story, but they can't ever tell it like Dorinda can, honey. You know what I'm saying? So push through because you deserve it. But okay, it's okay to also rest in those moments, right? In those moments when things are challenging and when you're doing the work in life, internal or external, it's okay to also rest because we're going to have those moments where we need to rest and take a break. It's not a moment of weakness. It's a moment of being able to re-energize, re-strategize, and be able to come with full force in the space that you deserve to be able to stand tall and go to work. And go to work. And I say this with love. And go to work. Sometimes you may have to go to work with some fist up with love. And go to work. It's okay to rest so that you're able to push through. And pushing through doesn't mean always grinding, right? Because that space of resting is also mental clarity, ideas, steps, things that you can utilize when you gain that energy to put back into force and keep it going and keep it moving. So don't use that space or self-sabotage and assume that, oh man, I took a break today. I'm not doing well. I'm not doing this. You're doing the work. Keep going and keep pushing and keep celebrating the steps that you're taking, because it's hard work. It's hard work. Because the most powerful thing is to be able to stop, pause, and give yourself that break to understand that you're doing your best. You're doing your best. You're not trying, you're doing it. Okay? You're doing it. So, I ask you, what is your purpose in life? Why are you here? A lot of times, many people said, well, I wasn't asked to be here. Even if you were not asked to be here, you're still here. And I understand that sometimes life is challenging and it's work. And I know you are putting in the work every day. And being able to understand why. It's also being able to understand our purpose in life. Is it to grow, to learn, to create, to leave something behind? Is it to find peace? Is it to connect, to build relationships, right? Is it spiritual? And those different things can evolve across lifetime. And it doesn't always have to be grande or grand, Spanish. It doesn't have to be grand and it doesn't have to be loud. It can be very small in being able to serve people in the streets and being able to serve people in low income communities who don't have health care accesses and are only seeking those type of services based on their income. There's so many ways we can determine what our purpose is with the spaces that we hold in this world, in life, right? I also believe that our purpose is to fully experience life, is to experience life fully, to turn in the pain into wisdom, love into action, and our presence and our connections and building those different things into meaning, but also being mindful and cautious in the different spaces in which you create, because you do want it to be authentic and beautiful, but it can also change over time. So why giving up is not an option. Although there are times that giving up may seem like it's an escape from the pain, the hurt, the challenges, the upsets that we experience in life, it robs you of all the different possibilities and all the different unique ways that the world, that you can experience you. It robs you of all of that beautiful thing that is in you, that the light the world have not even seen yet, that you are so anxious to allow the world to see, because you've told yourself that it's not beautiful, it doesn't mean a lot, or nobody cares. It's in you for a reason. Even if nobody cares, learn to care for you and put it out there. Because just as you have those same feelings, there's somebody out there that feel like that feels or feel that way. And then that's the opportunity to connect. That's why we're here, right? Opportunities to connect, to heal, to restore, to evolve, to love, not to destroy, not to hate, but to uplift in so many positive ways. Giving up is not an option. because you deserve better. Even in the darkest moment, the potential for light always exists, even if you don't see it. All you have to do sometime is keep pushing and pushing and pushing through the tears, the paper towel, the napkin, towel, whatever you have to push through, and then go for a run, and then drink some water, then eat some good food, and get some good night's sleep, and try it again the next day, pushing through, never giving up, because that's not an option. Because just making it through the day is a win. It is a win, baby. It is a win. Don't let nobody tell you that it's not a win. It's a win. It's not weakness to keep showing up even when you don't feel like it. Choosing to breathe. That's a win. That's power. You deserve to heal. You deserve to transform. You deserve to live the life that feels worthy of living. So if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling challenges about this work that sometimes comes with life, I hear you. I feel you. I understand you. Don't give up. And I know I keep repeating that over and over again because it's giving you the opportunity to choose you. So I always say just start small. If you don't even know where you're starting from, start small. Small act of self-care. Waking up in the morning and telling yourself one positive thing in that day. Just starting from that point. You could just say, well, you got a pretty eyebrow. All right. All right. All right. You got a pretty eyebrow. All right. Cool. Cool. Next day. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Them arms a little floppy, but hey, girl, they flop real beautifully. So what? I like them. Guess what? You like them. That's all that matters. Okay? Start small. Start from a space that makes you feel comfortable. Start from a space that is about self love, self acceptance, that is honest, a moment of honesty, right? One walk at a time, one day at a time, one journey at a time, one journal entry at a time. Don't pressure yourself to figure out everything in those moments. Reconnect to what used to bring peace for you, your internal being, what is music, what is nature, what is art, writing, journaling, traveling, finding your peace, your space, even if it doesn't feel the same, continuing to do it to feel grounded, because we don't stop when we are feeling heavy or when the work becomes heavy. We keep doing those little things, starting small to regain that passion again, right? And stay open. Talk it out to someone you trust. Trusted spaces, right? And if you don't have that, go see a professional to create that space for yourself. You know, talk it out. So you don't have to carry that burden or that, you know, emotions or whatever challenges alone, so that you can have that someone to connect with, whether it's a therapist or a good friend or a good family member or a good support system. But you don't have to carry it alone. Or your higher being. I talk to God a lot because I know that connection is beautiful. Talk to people too, but that connection, whoo, I love it. So you can talk to your higher being as well, having human connection too as well, right? But making sure that that space is also healthy, because that's important. Stay open to those moments, right? big plans. It doesn't always have to be. Start small. Start small. And the moment will pass. Those hard moments, it will pass. You're not broken. You're in a moment. And those moments are going to pass if we push through. Mm-mm-mm. Everything is temporary, baby. Pain, confusion, the feeling of loss. But you get to see what's on the other side if you stay in it. You grow through it. Struggle stretches you, it gives you muscles that you didn't even know you had. And it's the most beautiful muscles once they're developed. You come out puffed up and tough, but it's beautiful. It sharpens you, it strengthens your building, the right, the invisible things that you never saw that were worked through those moments that you get to feel. It's beautiful. And I know sometimes we don't want it. We want to escape it because we always love the feel good moment. I want to feel good. Yes, we can get to those feel good moments. But life is balance, right? Challenges will come to get to those feel good moments too. And that's why it's really important to have gratitude, right? Because those feel good moments is beautiful with gratitude because we understand what the challenges and struggles were like. Yes. You never know what's ahead. That's why it's important to push through and do the work, the opportunities, all the beautiful things. You deserve the best that all your body, all your soul, and all your heart desire. Your body deserves rest. Your body deserves pleasure. Your body deserves movements. Your body deserves safety. It deserves a space of home. Your soul deserves meaning. It deserves connection. It deserves being able to express itself in the essence that it chooses to want to express itself. Your heart deserves love. It deserves belonging. It deserves softness. It deserves a space where it's going to be nurtured and cared for and built and protected, right? All of those things are important. But to get to that space, life is work. You can't just do anything and be anything and act anything and think anything. Then anything is in that space. And if you don't want anything in that space, life is work. It requires work to be able to have those reflective movements or reflections of life, to be able to create those significant spaces that are important. So, living doesn't mean that we have to avoid struggles. It means choosing joy anyway, seeking connection anyway, finding purpose anyway. You don't have to wait to figure it all out for all of that to happen, right? To start living. And I'm speaking to this one too, right? You're already in it. What does living look like for you? What do you wish it could look like for you? Yes, life is work. It's emotional work, it's physical work, it's spiritual work. But those work shapes who we become. And within it, there's still space to dance. There's still space to listen to some good music. There's still space to rest, to fall in love with those fleeting moments. If we wait for it to just be effortless before we allow ourselves to live fully, we'll never start living. And we'll miss out on a lot of beautiful things that happens in the middle of the mess. that the challenges bring. The laugh, we'll miss all of those things. The peace after the struggles, it comes. The laugh after the grief, it comes. The love that shows up when you finally let someone in, it comes, right? All of those things are important. So, what legacy do you want to leave? What makes you happy? All of those things are important. But remember, you can start small. You don't have to figure all of those things now. Balance. I hope that the legacy that I leave is where people voices are heard, is where people have the spaces to be seen and understood, and understand that they're not alone in those journeys that sometimes feel like they're the only one in it, which leads so many people to commit suicide, to give up, and not have hope. And I hope that that is the legacy all of us are creating for each other, for ourselves, right? For our generations, so that that space of love and safety is always there, right? It helps also with that work of that life helps, that we must do, all do, when we also help create those different healthy spaces for one another. Yeah. You matter. Your life matters. Your pain matters. Your healing matters. Your joy matters. Your future matters. So stay, keep going. You're not alone. Healing is important. Choosing to face what hurt you instead of buying it, instead of avoiding it, instead of escaping it, instead of, just ignoring it, choosing to face what hurt you instead of buying it matters. Healing is important. It's not about erasing the pain or pretending that it didn't exist or it didn't happen. It's learning how to live with it, not in it. Slow in the process that is comfortable for you. And sometimes it can be messy and it's non-linear. Some days you're strong, some days you're not. And it's work, but it's allowing you to letting yourself feel the pain, the anger, the emotions, the numbness without shame, without guilt, and understanding that those emotions are normal and they're okay because it's part of the process of finding you and doing the work that life's involve. Finding your way back to trust, to softness, to joy, even after being hardened by so many circumstances that life sometimes bring us, right? Redefining yourself beyond the pain, saying, yes, this happened, but it's not all of me. It didn't take me out, baby. I'm back in the game. I'm still in the game. Matter of fact, I'm not back. I've been in the game. Yes. But it's also in those quiet, ordinary things, right, that we find all of those healing as well. Saying yes, saying no, holding yourself in spaces that are healthy, and making those filtering changes and decisions. But remember that healing doesn't have a timeline. There's no deadline, no straight path, no finish line where everything suddenly makes sense and nothing hurts anymore. It can be deeply personal, unpredictable, and different in so many different ways and spaces to everyone. So take your time, allow yourself to feel the pain, allow yourself to go through it, make progress, acknowledge your progress, acknowledge your setbacks, and heal through them, through self compassion, right? All of those things are important. What matter isn't how fast you're healing, it's that you're showing up for yourself. And if you're doing that for others in the process, and it's whatever way you can. So remember this as expressed. Life is work. Life is work. It's your job to enjoy it because it's also fun. How can you make yourself smile today? How can you make your heart sing today? Even if you're not able to come to a resolution or answer to a problem or a challenge, what can you do today to give yourself something that your body, your mind, your soul deserves that will help you get to those resolutions, to those problems? Do you need to go for a walk? Do you need to talk to a trusted someone? Don't escape the work because you deserve the best. So I'm gonna end on the note of continuing to this, listen to this music. That was a little pausing a little bit earlier, but we're gonna continue anyway because we don't have no perfection here. We have reality and humanity, human narrative. Let's listen up, y'all. Thanks for listening and tuning in. Always, it's your girl. And one of my fave, Lucky Doobie, remember me.